Greetings! You're watching Septum Sin versus the World. I'm Septum Sin, and I'm here with Kotobuki Jake.
Hi.
And we're here for this week's Vlogcast. Because I wasn't given any names of any worth, I decided on Vlogcast because. I don't know. Did you get to see the picture I put on there for our Vlogcast? I had Thanos with the little mustache and glasses on.
I saw it, but I didn't notice. Like I was there, but I wasn't like looking.
So
Thanos with like evil mustache.
Yeah, well, like Groucho Marx mustache.
Ah, okay.
But it's because it was Avengers news we were talking about, Infinity
Right.
War.
Yes.
So
and we have some additional Avengers news. Yes.
So we'll see what theme we can do, and then I'll come up with a name to add to that.
Yeah.
And maybe a nice little picture on that. So what we have been viewing. I have not been viewing a ton because I have stuff that I've had to do. But I have gotten a couple of things taken care of. I managed to get through Patlabor. And since I'm not reviewing a lot of the more mainstream stuff, and Patlabor, though it's not super mainstream, it does have a good following. I will say that I liked a lot of Patlabor. I think it went on a long time, and there wasn't as much character development as I would like. But it was a fun mecha series with, likable characters. And then came the OVA. And the OVA attaches to the movies. They made one character that was somewhat likable in the anime into a total dick. And I was just like, okay, so I kind of half-tuned out the OVA as it went on. I watched the third movie. I'd seen the first two for a while. Because it goes OVA, first movie, second movie, third movie. And that third movie, it's kind of blah. But it has an interesting premise to it. But from what I was expecting the team, and the team didn't even come into it until maybe the second half of the movie. You're following really some detectives trying to solve a mystery for the other half, which doesn't sound like a Patlabor movie.
Yeah, the mystery is, where is the Patlabor team?
Well, other than that, I have I was playing on The Secret of Mana, trying to beat that game, and then found out that my TV was dying. The top of my screen was darkening to where I could barely see it, and that was not where it was, where the problem was. At the end, it was the fact it was going as I was trying to play. Not loudly, but enough that it was annoying. And I was like, I can't watch a movie like this. Star vs. Force of Evil's coming out. And then we had a nice party for the new TV, which is in back. And, it's a nicer TV. It's an upgrade. Went from 40 inches to 55 inches. Have a nice little sound going on so that this time it's not going to do the well, it better not for what I paid for that speaker system. We watched Thor Ragnarok. We had a nice party doing that. And it was a really cool thing.
And he didn't fall asleep right away.
Not that time. Well, the problem is that when we're watching stuff, it's always, I don't want to go. It's always I don't want to go down. Well, not me. Usually it's my wife doesn't want to necessarily go downstairs to watch any of the stuff down here because it's a little bit chillier down here. So if she wants to watch a movie, it's over in the bedroom. But while I'm laying in the bed, I'm just automatically falling asleep. I've had a long day at work, and I'm just there. When I'm sitting on the couch, it takes a little bit more. Even with alcohol in me, it takes a little bit more to knock me out. The other thing I watched on there, though, was the new Star versus the Forces of Evil, which the colors just popped out on that screen. It was really cool. And there was a spoiler, so give it like 5-10 seconds and go over if you don't want Star vs. Forces of Evil spoilers. But for those of us who are in the Starco shippers, we had a slight victory this time because Marco actually did kiss star in this particular episode. So if you are one of those who has given up on that, don't give up. And apparently some people, I find, overanalyze that particular episode a lot. So check it out, see what you think of it. So what have you been watching this week?
Well, you skipped one of the things, or a couple of the things we used on the TV. And first of all, with Thor, you said Kim put she put the what was it, cinema mode or?
Oh yeah, well, there are different modes.
Yeah.
There's a darker mode for regular watching.
Right. Well, this one, honestly, I thought it made it a little too video gamey. But it was like hyper realistic. Like it was an interesting watch. It really was, and I liked the way it looked. And speaking of video gaming, we did do some Injustice too. I got to break in Starfire and find out how she plays. And Leonardo, I've never played the Ninja Turtles on that game, so that was kind of fun. It's a fun game. It's fun. And then, but you forgot about Team Daryl.
Oh, well. Yeah, I watched that short on there.
I had never seen the Team Thor shorts from before, but after this I had to watch them. If you've never seen these, they are on YouTube. You can watch them pretty easily. They're pretty hilarious. The first one stars Thor, and the second one stars the Games Master. Grandmaster. Yeah. There's a Games Master character, and for some reason I always, But Jeff Goldblum is just so good in that role.
So when are they going to put Arcade in an X-Men movie?
Well, who knows? Maybe they will. Who knows? It could go any way right now with the X-Men stuff.
Yeah, that's hard to say.
But at any rate, so yeah, there's been a lot of viewing, and actually I've thought of at least one of the movies I meant to talk about last week. And I totally forgot. I've been working pretty hard on trying to get caught up on the Oscar stuff. And I did get to watch, I don't believe I've talked on here about getting to watch Roman J. Israel Esquire.
Oh.
It was interesting. It was a perfectly serviceable legal thriller, kind of, nothing out extraordinary, except that Denzel did do a fine job. It was a good performance. But he really is becoming the male Black Meryl Streep. He's not, I think the Academy nominates him because Denzel, But he does do a great job.
You think he should have won?
No, not this year. Definitely not. There was some really stiff competition in that category. But arguably deserved a nod. But this week I did get to watch a very high-profile Oscar one, and I was very, very. I liked I, Tonya. I really did. I honestly, when I first heard about that movie, I was like, really? And I had mixed thoughts about it right up until then. But I will say, Allison Janney deserved her Oscar.
So you made that face like with Excalibur?
Excalibur face? You need to find an image of Excalibur face for your resources. Well, every time Janney opened her mouth, I kind of was tempted because she's that kind of character. Well, the character she plays. She basically plays. It was interesting this year. The best supporting actress race was a battle between the mothers you don't want to have. But the thing is, Laurie Metcalf in Lady Bird she's at least supportive in her own way. And the one in I, Tonya, no, she was not supportive. Not at all. She was. And a minor spoiler alert, there's one scene where she appears to be supportive. Don't buy it.
Don't buy it for a moment.
As far as the rest of it, it was up for 2 other Oscars. I think the editing nod was because of the whole idea of being able to get Margot Robbie to look like she was actually skating. And they did do a good job of that. And Margot Robbie did a great job in the film. Sebastian Stan as her worthless loser husband did a good job. But the real scene stealer, the guy, their mutual friend who probably, according to the movie, bared almost all the blame for what happened, that guy was messed up. According to the movie. You gotta take it with a grain of salt. Yeah. But one thing interesting occurred to me. I think Margot Robbie is auditioning for the role if Marvel decides they cannot keep any of the same cast and they have to recast everyone and they can't keep Ryan Reynolds for Deadpool. I think Margot Robbie is auditioning for that role. Because not only did she play Harley Quinn, who's like the DC, but she's already starred in 2 movies where she breaks the fourth wall. You know, because she also did in, she didn't star in The Big Short, but she specifically came in to break the fourth wall.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's an open letter. If they ever do, like, Gwenpool or something like that, Margot Robbie will be a good choice there. Other viewing, I've been continuing on Frozen Planet. I've got a couple episodes left.
And the last thing you might expect to see here is penguins. These are Fiordland crested penguins, named after this corner of South New Zealand. So why are these woodlands so attractive to penguins?
Been continuing with Boardwalk Empire, and interestingly enough, Bobby Cannavale and who was the other one? There were 2 people from Boardwalk Empire who are featured in I, Tonya. And I'm drawing a blank on the other one. But anyway, Cannavale plays a hard copy editor who offers a lot of insight. Julianne Nicholson. Okay. Julianne Nicholson plays Tonya Harding's trainer, her coach. And she, of course, had played a hard-charging prosecutor in Boardwalk Empire. And Cannavale played a Italian mobster. So both of them are heavily featured in the season I'm watching now. So that was kind of cool. I've been working more on Fairy Tail. Got about halfway through the Tenra Island arc, which is pretty fun. It's always fun. And as far as the other viewing from the library, I'm sitting on some good stuff. I've got The Square lined up for this week. Abacus, Logan Lucky, Call Me By Your Name. I hope I get to watch all that. I hope I have time for all of those. But yeah, time has been at a premium. I've been doing a lot of viewing and reading. And one of the highly notable ones, I mentioned already on a previous video that I'm working further on My Hero Academia. I picked up 2 additional volumes of Black Butler, and I read one of them today. Black Butler, I'm up to 24. One more volume, and it'll be tied with the 2 series that are the 3rd longest series I've completed. And that's one of the very notable things this week. Just a week after completing Fairy Tail, I finished another long manga series. I finally finished Nisekoi. Oh. And Nisekoi is a 25-volume series. It is a series that I have never seen an episode of the anime because Aniplex. And Nisekoi is very interesting. It literally means false love. It's about... are you all familiar with it? Do you know?
I try... When I hear that Aniplex is going to take one, I try not to get too involved because then I end up saying if I like it, then I want it.
Yeah, the thing with Nisekoi is I thought I was safe against that for a while, but it really did grow on me. Basically, the initial premise has some interest to it. The 2 main characters, you've got Raku Ichijo and Chitoge Kosaki, who are each the scion of warring Yakuza clans. And in order to keep peace, their fathers concoct a scheme where they have to pretend to be dating. Because anime or manga,
So sort of like My Bride is a Mermaid in a way.
Yeah, I believe so, but I haven't actually seen that one or read it.
Where the mermaids are gangsters.
Right. But in typical manga fashion, most of these guys are actually pretty decent. The Shuigumi clan that Raku is from, they're actually like really nice guys for the most part. The Beehive clan has some harder nosed characters, particularly Claude, the bespectacled martial arts expert who is trying to keep track on Chitoge. And he brings in Tsugumi, who is her age and ends up being a major part of the character. But anyway, the basic premise has some originality to it. But then you get into the first few volumes of the manga. It was like cliche after cliche after everything. It's a harem series. They hit every note they could. And I was sitting there going, ugh. But it was interesting. It caught my interest. Not like I'm 8 volumes into Pandora Hearts, and I'm still not interested. But with Nisekoi, it caught my interest probably 4 or 5 volumes in. And once I got into it, they do grow on you. Cliched as the series is, it's likable. And I like the way that the story played out. And I like, it ended up, hardly anything was totally unpredictable, but it was fun. And I'd like to see the show. But Aniplex.
Yeah.
So, if you do stream, you could probably watch the show. If you don't, just read the manga. It's 25 volumes. It takes a bit, but it's not huge.
I mean,
but after wondering about it, I will say it is worth reading.
Yeah.
And again, it's tied with Soul Eater as the 4th longest one I've completed. But 2 more volumes and Black Butler will pass it. And of course, Skip Beat's already well beyond it.
40 volumes.
Yeah. So, and Skip Beat's not done yet. Black Butler's not done yet. So we'll see where they end up in the long run.
Hopefully better than the way that they decided to end or go about season 2 of the series of Black Butler.
See, Black Butler painted itself into a corner. The first series was pretty good, but they ended it. And then they were like, oh, wait, this is popular. Let's have another season.
Let's do a sequel. Oh, wait, we didn't end it. Nope,
but the more recent stuff, Book of Circus, Book of Murder, Book of the Atlantic, which I think was a movie. Well, these are not really retcons. These are more, they said, you know what? People want this show. No one liked the second series. We're just basically going. They're basically adapting chunks of the manga.
Well,
That's
essentially
pretty
they
much
looked
what
at
it
it
is.
and said, you know what?
Yeah.
Those first 2 series, for the most part, didn't exist.
Yeah.
We're just gonna take stuff from the manga, similar to how Negima went, where they just drew like random slots of the manga.
Well, Black Butler, they're trying to get most of it, or at least much of it.
But,
with Negima, they did something else with that. They did a totally dickish thing. It was like, we're going to put out some anime for the people who are reading the manga. And that's it. Like, they've got the Ala Alba as a self-contained arc that goes nowhere. It's all prelude. It's all set up for the Magic World arc. And it's self-contained, but that's it. The Magic World anime consists of, 4 episodes?
Yeah.
That are literally bits and pieces of the early part of the story. And then they cover the very end of the story in bits and pieces at the beginning of the movie, which tells an alternate end. So the end of the manga has never been animated. Most of the Magic World arc has not been animated. And the entire Magic Games arc has never been animated. So there's a lot of the series that's never been done, so
actually,
I keep hoping for it.
That's one of the series. That's a long manga that you've read all the way.
Yeah, I can't remember if it's 36 or 38 volumes, but that's the second longest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, Skip Beat's already longer, but it's not done yet. So, it's kind of, and Negima stands along with Usagi Drop as the only ones I actually read online. I really don't like reading online. I just got into it briefly.
Well, I don't like the way that the story... from what I've heard, I'm fine with having Bunny Drop as the anime.
Yeah.
It's just, to me, it's creepy. The ending is creepy.
If you're not familiar with Bunny Drop, Usagi Drop, which literally means the same thing, the anime is flippin' awesome. It's one of the best shows I've ever seen. It's a real nice little heartwarming tale this guy goes to the funeral of his grandfather, and this little girl follows his every footstep, and then they find out that she is the illegitimate child of the grandfather, which of course shocks everybody because the dude's like an old man and this girl's 6. It's like.
Before you get into any spoilers, make sure that you say okay, spoilers.
Oh yeah,
skip ahead a couple.
Well,
of
this
seconds
is all the first
Yeah,
episode.
I'm just saying before you get to that.
Right.
Point.
Basically, the family gets to talking like, what are we going to do with her? And this guy's just in there. He's just a 30-something bachelor, workaholic, doesn't, never even thought about family, but he's just getting so pissed off that everyone is talking about this girl as an inconvenience, as an embarrassment. And finally, he's just like, I'll take care of her. He just stands up for her and takes her home and starts raising her. And the show, and the first part of the manga, is basically a slice of life series about parenthood.
Yeah.
And they're getting to know each other. And it's great. And then there's a time jump of 10 years. And you have the second, longer half of the manga. And that's where people start having problems.
So,
and I'm not going to say anything about beyond that.
Spoilers. Just again, skip ahead about 5 to 10 seconds. If you found the whole Sonny Woody Allen thing creepy, you'll find this creepy as well. If you looked at that and said, this is a cool thing, I'm kind of glad that he did that, then you'll find this is a heartwarming, wonderful end to the series.
Suffice it to say, it's well written. I like some of the places the story goes in that second half, but it goes in a direction that I probably would have rather it didn't.
Well,
but anyway.
It's sort of like the end of Oremo. Mm-hmm. That one, excellent series. Loved it. Ending sucked. I just, no, I can't do that ending. So, for those of you who love the ending of it, sorry. And my review of it, I talk about the ending. You can look up my review. So,
shameless self-plug, right?
Yes. In the news.
Well, actually, real quick, before we get away from the topic of graphic novels and comics and all that stuff, I did want to do a real quick little... We talked last week about my Comic-Con at my library, and I mentioned my lovely buttons that I made, and I neglected to bring them, and I wanted to bring them and show them off because I like them. This one was not perfect. There's one small corner that didn't quite work out, but I got a really nice Harley Quinn button. Second one, I got a real nice Cammy button.
You keep up, I'll be back.
And, I'm going to be done in just a minute. Third one, okay, come on. You can test your might here. Test your level of geek knowledge. If you can guess that one.
Okay.
Did you know?
Wasn't she the one who was like on the Justice League for a while, and then she had like an affair with Superman?
No.
Oh, so not the one I'm thinking of. Gosh, I can't think of her name either.
Now, this is Codex from the Guild.
Oh.
Felicia Day's avatar. And if you've never seen The Guild, it is a great, great series. But when I saw that, I was like, holy crap, I need a Codex. Unfortunately, I tried to make a letter B pin, but it didn't work. But, oh well, so that was kind of fun. And that was basically my thing, was helping people make these buttons. And, it was really fun. And that's, I guess, the main thing I wanted to say about that. So...
So let's talk news. As far as things that are up and coming, theoretically Isle of Dogs is out, but it's nowhere here. So as far as I'm concerned, it's not out, and I want to see it, and it needs to get here.
I want to see that too.
Right now. Like right now. Right here.
Wouldn't that be something?
I'm looking for a DVD to fall like from the sky.
Huh.
Not gonna happen.
Instant movies.
That'd be
They're
nice.
out for, what was it? They're available for home release before they're out in theaters.
That'd be nice news right there. But I really want to see Isle of Dogs. In case you haven't noticed, if it is out this weekend, I am going to see it. I said that about Dark Tower too, but this is going to be a good movie. When Dark Tower was coming out, that was my plan. I didn't care. I was going to see it. I would see it multiple times. But then I heard it sucked. And then I said, no, I'm not going to see that in theaters. I'm not going to give a ruining of Stephen King's work, even if it's been blessed by Stephen King, a lot more of my money. I will get it on DVD when it comes out.
Well, now that's a thought. Wes Anderson needs to adapt a Stephen King story.
That'd be a weird thing.
What would be the best one for him?
Lawnmower Man. But actually, there are Stephen King ones that would be a Wes Anderson territory. I mean, I'd be interested to see what he did with what he would do with Hearts of Atlantis. That would have been an interesting adaptation.
All right.
To tell you the truth, I think that people are really getting it wrong. They're trying to create these cinematic universes here, and they could do a Stephen King cinematic universe. All they have to do, because Stephen King already shows which movies connect with Dark Tower, so you've got it already. It's being done. And you could do movies connected to the Dark Tower, and then show each one of those. Get a really good Salem's Lot movie redo.
It as the template, not the Dark Tower. And
yes.
I think, although I would not be at all opposed if they keep McConaughey as the Man in Black, because he did a really good job.
I have yet to see it. I need to see it.
But yeah, I think we talked about that on this channel before about the idea.
Casting's not bad. I mean, Idris Elba, I think, has a lot of potential for Roland.
He's not what I envisioned with Roland, but he does a fine job.
I would like to, but that's the thing, is that they decided to really depart. Now they're going to do a TV series, so I would be interested to see how they do it there. It is an excellent series. Don't let the movie screw with you. Read the books. Look at the comics. The comics actually do a pretty good job.
Comics are good.
With the adaptations. So we'll see how it goes. Anything spectacular as far as news goes on your end?
Well, just a quick addendum. You're talking about movies. We have already pre-ordered for the new Avengers. It's going to be good.
Well, I mean, as far as like tickets.
Yeah, obviously. But that's going to be a movie to see there. As far as news, one little news bite did interest me. Just like last week, I saw a little comment from a filmmaker and felt the need to comment on it. I saw one yesterday that it so happens I fully agree with. Steven Spielberg, did you see what he had to say about Netflix?
No, not
Yeah. Well, more accurately about Netflix and the Oscars, because if you recall, we've talked about this past year. We had Netflix documentary Icarus win the documentary feature category. We had the Netflix produced Mudbound is up for several awards.
Yes.
And a couple of the short films were Netflix productions. Heroin, Revolting Rhymes. I think one or more of the live action ones. So basically, Spielberg came out and said that Netflix films should be disqualified from Oscar consideration. In so many words. Basically, his thought was, if a movie does a short LA run just to qualify for Oscar and then instantly goes to streaming, it's not a theatrical film, it's a TV film. And I fully agree. That is not a theatrical release. And it's complete BS to consider it on the same footing as a true theatrical release. And I was very pleased to see Spielberg come out and say this, because I'm like, this is a big deal.
Well,
I don't stream.
If Netflix was, tell you the truth, I think if Netflix can get on there, I would consider Netflix a higher-end TV movie.
Exactly.
I mean,
but the thing is, again, that's TV. You know, and this is one of the issues. The Oscar bylaws allow a movie to be considered if it has, I think it's 1 week consecutive run in an LA County theater.
Did they do it? Did they do that?
Yeah.
Okay, so they still did it.
Yes, but that's the point, though. It's like, if you, I mean, for example, with the documentary feature, I'm surprised Icarus was able to get away with it.
Oh.
Because I guess they held its debut until after the new year.
Yeah.
Which, it's like you cannot be on television before the Oscars.
Well, that's how Fahrenheit 9/11 lost.
Yes, that was a big to-do. Michael Moore was basically told, you cannot put this on TV or you will not be eligible for Oscar. And he was like, well, this is more important. You know, but that is always been their rules. They don't want feature documentaries confused with television documentaries. So how a streaming service documentary is different, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't get it. And
I don't get that myself.
And then, you know, but there are other factors here too. Because of that LA playing qualification, if a film is a genuine, legit theatrical release, but let's say it's a foreign film that never gets picked up in LA, or it's an anime that only shows in festival screenings in this country, but was a full-on legit release elsewhere, or even just a super low-budget film that didn't have the budget to open in LA, but maybe in New York. You know, it's very unfair to the movies that don't get the screening that they can, but it's also extremely unfair to viewers, to average moviegoers who are nowhere near LA County, who want to be up on the Oscar stuff, who want to be able to know the best of, you know? Yeah. And since I don't do streaming, and Netflix doesn't put their stuff on hard copies for at least a year or two after its release, sometimes longer, we're still waiting for a physical release of Beasts of No Nation. It's still not available, and that's, 3 years old?
Yeah.
So, this is total BS to call these theatrical releases.
Well, though it is the future, I think the future is to eliminate physical release.
Well, if that's the case, then the Oscars need to come right out and say, we're not just doing theatrical releases. We're not just doing... They need to be clear about that.
Well, they're snobbish. To them, a week in LA County is a theatrical release, whether it gets released to the rest or not.
Yeah, which is stupid.
And that's been the case for a lot of these obscure, especially short films.
Yeah.
But
definitely the case with short films. Like, I very rarely get to do festival screenings. Oh, shoot, wasn't there one this weekend? I've totally forgot about it. I rarely get to do festival screenings, but I went to a film festival screenings about 3 years ago here in town, and I got to see a lot of short films, and some of them were really good, and none of them were in the Oscar conversation, and I don't know, it could have been that they weren't screened in LA. So, yeah.
It's... I mean, it's just one of those things. Now, on other news, Last Jedi got released this Tuesday. So, this is, of course, my Steelbook edition.
Right.
Normally, I put this in the pickups, but because this is a big release, I went ahead and I'm just going to throw this out now. So, it won't be in the pickups. See, if you watch this, you get stuff that's not in the pickups. But this is supposed to be a big release. I'll admit I've never seen it. But I've got a TV that'll probably be worthy of this.
Yeah.
So I do look forward to it.
Good time.
So I am curious about it. I'm looking to see if there's anything else in the news that I really need to check out. What else do you have for us? I mean, I'm just looking to see.
We should put in a plug for that Kickstarter.
Oh yeah, there is that Gunsmith Cats. They're doing a new Gunsmith Cats series that went live last week, and I do look forward to trying to get in on that. Well, actually, I have already gotten in on it. On the day it did debut.
I intend. It's still running through the weekend, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to put a little.
It's running for like a month, so you're good. Yeah.
It seems really cool. It was cool enough to actually be able to say that I helped finance an American release, but to be able to finance at the production stage, that'd be, even if it's just $5, I can say I financed.
Well,
but
I mean, one move,
I paid a lot more than that for Skip Beat, I'll tell you that.
Apparently one move, if you're looking at the Me Too movement, which is very ingrained in Hollywood,
right.
There are some states that look to be moving towards making catcalling illegal.
Oh, geez.
So, if you whistle or do a remark that's considered off color towards somebody, they can theoretically give you a ticket or get you arrested in certain states, is what they're moving towards. So,
I don't see that happening under the current administration.
Well, it's going to be a state-by-state thing,
yeah.
I think. And I don't know if it'll hold up in courts. I mean, there's a certain bit...
Probably won't.
I understand where it's coming from, but at the same time, that could be a very,
Yeah, that gets into the tetchy, shady middle ground, like between respecting freedom of speech and respecting other people, and it's kind of... Yeah, that's always a sticky area.
There's one other thing that looks like, and apparently George Lucas and Mark Hamill have been coming out about that, about this whole thing. Yeah. And apparently George Lucas had a very different direction for Luke Skywalker. And Mark Hamill was like, I wish that was the direction instead of this. But he's been a very vocal individual against this film. He didn't like the way this went.
Hamill backtracked a lot after the movie came out.
He said he was for in the film, but he didn't feel like that the character went in the direction that it should have. He wasn't a fan of how his character was treated in the film.
Right.
I don't know. I've not seen it. I mean, if everybody says his character's treated like a sniveling coward, that's kind of not really a hero.
No, I wouldn't say that
in the film.
I wouldn't say that. He's not the Luke Skywalker of old. He's definitely changed a lot.
Well, Luke Skywalker of old was sort of like this farm boy who was even the Return of the Jedi Skywalker really wasn't. Yeah. I mean, to me, I never really saw him as this great hero. I mean, this is why so many people imagined him going dark. Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, in those comics, it's really cool. I think it's Dark Forces, or those are video games. But there's a comic series where you see Luke go to the dark side, and it's kind of cool because he does embrace anger to defeat Darth Vader in the end. So he embraces the dark side, if ever briefly.
I can feel your anger. I am defenseless. Take your weapon. Strike me down with all of your hatred, and your journey towards the dark side will be complete.
To defeat Darth Vader at the end of Return of the Jedi. Which, to me, that's how I saw it going. But I do look forward to it. I think this was Carrie Fisher's last film.
I believe so, yes.
So, it'll be good to see her swan songs. Yeah. And then, of course, hopefully not any of that
and then wonder how they're going to write her out of the final one.
They might not. They might use CG Carrie Fisher.
They've said they won't. I hope they don't.
Yeah, well, Disney, the mouse lies. The mouse lies.
Yes.
No, I mean, just like they keep lying about Kingdom Hearts 3 being released, they just keep releasing all these half steps. Right. Of course, I haven't played or beaten Kingdom Hearts 2 yet, so I can't really say.
Right.
I've got some good video games that I've been playing on, and South Park has released a new downloadable content where you go to Casa Bonita. I can't wait to play that. because I do have my downloadables for that. And as you stated, the Turtles, we got to play those and play around. And those are actually fun, as they incorporate all of the Turtles into that particular
Injustice.
for the Injustice fighting game.
Yeah.
So some fun things.
Yep.
But otherwise, I'm pretty much done with what I've seen in the news lately. We'll keep you up to date on certain things that that come up. But for this time, I think unless you got something else.
No, I think that does it.
So we'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.